Larna.
Colin?
So last time we said that we would talk about Jehovah's Witnesses and blood transfusions.
We did.
So I don't know if we can do it justice, but we'll have a go. I don't think many Jehovah's Witnesses will know some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight.
No, probably not. No.
And as we go through it, it just gets more dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
It gets sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, or when you think about Jehovah's Witnesses, what lengths did we go to avoid having a blood transfusion?
One of the main things was we would carry a blood card with us on us at all times in case of emergency, which would state that we wouldn't receive we wouldn't want to receive a blood transfusions at any cost. So that would be carried with us at all times.
Yeah. So they printed it, and we signed it.
That's right. Yeah.
And we got it countersigned or witnessed by an elder in the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And we did that on behalf of our children.
That's right. Yeah. That wouldn't have been a blood card. That would have been. So I've done both actually. I've had an identity card as a child that my parents signed for me, stating that they wouldn't want me to have blood. So I carried an identity card as a child. I remember carrying that around at school in a little purse actually. And then as an adult you would sign a blood card, which was an annual meeting, wasn't it? To sign
It was annually, yeah, we signed it annually. And then what else was in place to make sure that we wouldn't get any blood?
Then we had the hospital liaison committee, which was a group of elders that if you was in hospital and it was an emergency or any operation, that they would be there at the hospital, providing what they would say support so that you didn't receive a blood transfusion.
Yes, that's right. They would try and say that they wanted us to have the best medical care.
Yes.
In other words, they wanted us to avoid blood transfusions.
Mm-hmm.
So there they'd be in the corridors outside your hospital room.
That's right.
But they're there, aren't they? As soon as you're in hospital and they know about it, they're there and they're chatting to doctors and things like that.
Yeah.
So I went to great lengths to make sure that you want to have that
blood, yeah.
blood transfusion. We did buy as a congregation, I remember us contributing towards a cell salvage machine. What's a cell salvage machine?
So that's where your blood would leave the body and it would go into the machine, be cleaned and then come back into the body. So it was a loop, it was a closed circuit.
Yes, so that it never ever stopped flowing.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But what was the chances of the cell salvage machine being actually used?
Well, some hospitals, but I would imagine probably didn't have one, and if they did have one, it's like the availability of it or how quick they could get that in a case of emergency, how quick they could get that and be able to use that wasn't be very reliable, I would imagine.
Or if it was an emergency and you didn't have enough blood, you wouldn't be able to do it anyway.
True, yeah.
But ultimately, so we did that, a cell salvage machine.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Bassetlaw Hospital somewhere, or there was. But ultimately, what would we have to do?
Well, if all that failed, then death would be your only option.
You'd have to refuse that blood transfusion.
Mm-hmm.
So refusing a blood transfusion doesn't necessarily mean death.
No, it doesn't. No, you're right. Yeah.
But the doctors would say.
But you're more if you need a blood transfusion, you're more likely to die if you don't have one. Aren't you?
Yeah, if they're saying to you, look, you're going to die if you don't have one. Now and again, people don't die.
People do recover, yeah.
And Jehovah's Witnesses go crazy about that, don't they? They love that when that happens, but not always.
Well, thankfully they don't. But yeah, it's not always.
That's right. So where do we go in the Bible to find laws about blood transfusions or not having blood transfusions?
Well, the first one was in the Old Testament, wasn't it?
Yeah, so there's a few verses in the Old Testament that Jehovah's Witnesses would use.
Mm-hmm.
Not many, and bear in mind this is 3,500 years ago. And we're just going to look at the one in Leviticus chapter 17. I think it's verse 10 and 11.
Okay. If any man of the house of Israel or any foreigner who is residing in your midst eats any sort of blood, I will certainly set my face against the one who is eating the blood, and I will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I myself have given it on the altar for you to make atonement for yourselves, because it is in the blood that makes atonement by means of the life in it. That is why I have said to the Israelites, none of you should eat blood, and no foreigner who is residing in your midst should eat blood. If one of the Israelites or some foreigner who is residing in your midst is hunting and catches a wild animal or a bird that may be eaten, he must pour its blood out and cover it with dust.
Okay, so does it mention blood transfusions?
No.
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 It's dietary.
You shouldn't eat blood.
Shouldn't eat blood.
No.
Instead of eating blood, when you kill an animal, what does the law say that you should do?
You should pour that onto the ground and cover it with dust.
Yes, exactly. But was that, every time? Was there any exceptions to that?
Well, with the Exodus with the blood above the door with the Israelites, so they didn't pour that onto the ground, did they?
No, that's right. In the book of Exodus, when the Israelites were leaving Egypt, God instructed them to take the animal's blood and pour it on the doorposts.
Yeah.
So there are exceptions to the rule as regards the use of blood and pouring it straight away on the dust on the ground. Also, when it comes to the blood and the life in the blood, it says, doesn't it, that the life, that's quite a powerful point. It was for me, I think, thinking out, his life is in his blood.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But on reflection now, it's so obvious, it's figurative. It's not literal.
Yeah. Because
the psalmist prayed for a clean heart. Or was his heart dirty? Our heart's dirty.
Depends on what heart it is, I suppose. It's figurative, yeah. It's not literal.
It's not literally dirty.
No.
In Jeremiah 17:9, it says the heart is more treacherous than anything else, and it's desperate. But the physical heart, is in no way literally treacherous, is it?
No.
It's figurative. But what would the governing bodies say about those verses anyway now in the Old Testament?
Well, now they would say we're not under that law anymore, are we? It would be that the law was replaced after Jesus, so we're not under the law in the Old Testament anymore. So it's not relevant now to what they would say in regards to the blood.
No, that's right. It's not what they've always said.
No.
But they're saying that now, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not relevant. So what is relevant then? Why do Jehovah's Witnesses hold to the policy of no blood transfusion? Where would you find a verse of scripture to...
Well, there are other verses in Acts, aren't there? Later on in Acts 15 that speak about blood as well.
Yeah. So do you want to just read Acts 15? So it's Acts chapter 15, 28 and 29. Just bear in mind, Larna, that in the Bible there's over 1 million words. And we're going to consider
2 verses. How many words?
2 verses. It's going to end up being 3 words. 3 words.
All right. 28 and 29. For the Holy Spirit and we ourselves are favoured, adding no further burden to it except these necessary things: to keep abstaining from things sacrificed to idols, from blood, from what is strangled, and from sexual immorality. If you carefully keep yourself from these things, you will prosper. Good health to you.
So what's the 3 words?
To abstain from blood.
3 words. And the whole theology is built on those 3 words.
The meaning that they give to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No blood transfusions from them verses.
And the blood doctrine wasn't even an official doctrine of Jehovah's Witnesses till 1961. And it came out in a question from readers in a watchtower.
Before my time.
Yeah. So Jehovah's Witnesses had been around for almost 100 years, and then some bright spark decided to ban blood transfusions. And it was put in a magazine as a question from readers. So it's not even like an official statement. They've made it out to be like somebody's wrote in saying, can we be disfellowshipped for blood transfusions? And then they've just put this. So it's a question from readers in 1961, January the 15th, Watchtower. So we're going to read it. Please bear with us because this is dreadful. Do you want to start there, Larna?
Yeah. If the taking of blood transfusion is the first offence of a dedicated baptised Christian due to his immaturity or lack of Christian stability, and he sees the error of his actions and grieves and repents over it and begs divine forgiveness and forgiveness of God's congregation on earth, then mercy should be extended to him and he need not be disfellowshipped. He needs to be put under surveillance and to be instructed thoroughly according to the scriptures upon this subject, and thereby be helped to acquire strength to make decisions according to the Christian standard in any future cases.
Stop there, Larna. So what does it say about if it's his first offence? If the taking of a blood transfusion, if it's his first offence, what's to happen to him?
Well, he's got to grieve and beg for divine forgiveness and forgiveness of men as well.
Yeah.
Forgiveness of the congregation, so.
And then he's put under surveillance.
And help to make a better decision in the future.
Right, okay. Right, do you want to read the next bit? Because it carries on.
If, however, he refuses to acknowledge his non-conformity to the required Christian standard and makes the matter an issue in the Christian congregation and endeavours to influence others therein to his support, or if in the future he persists in accepting blood transfusions or in donating blood towards the carrying out of this medical practice upon others, he shows that he has really not repented, but is deliberately opposed to God's requirements. As a rebellious opposer and unfaithful example to fellow members of the Christian congregation, he must be cut off therefrom by disfellowshipping. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. So, if he persists in having blood transfusions, what's the outcome?
That he is to be cut off.
He's got to be disfellowshipped. 1961, all of a sudden, God minded you having a blood transfusion. So it doesn't take an offence up until 1961, but then from 1961...
It's a required Christian standard then.
That's right. But even then, if it's his first offence, so he doesn't quite understand this character who's had blood, if it's their first offence, even then it says they can be forgiven. So God is not mortally wounded by anybody having a blood transfusion. It's not something he can't handle or cope with.
As if he persists, or...
Yeah, all of a sudden, but if he carries on, all of a sudden God can't handle it. It's got to be put out of the congregation.
Yeah.
So imagine having a blood transfusion and you're sorry, and they'll say, yeah, okay, we see you begging for mercy, we forgive you. And then you go and have another, and they say, look, you're pushing it a bit now. And then you have another, and they say, look, he's still alive, what's going on here? And then the guy's thinking, oh my goodness, the only way around this is if I die. The only way I'm going to come here and be in favour with you.
I mean, when it says...
The only way I'm going to be in favour.
It would affect the congregation. I can't... It's not hurting anybody else, him saving his own life, so...
It's not even hurting the congregation, is it?
No. So other things mentioned in scripture that they would say you could be disfellowshipped for could cause pain to others, but saving of your own life, I just don't.
No.
Just as a person,
How does it
don't
hurt
see
the
how it would
congregation?
hurt other congregation members. Only that they too might have a blood transfusion should they need one. There's nothing personal about that choice whatsoever. It's just complete control. That fear narrative of being cut off.
Yeah.
If you save your life.
That's right. So if you was an elder, you could look at a brother and say, look, brother, you've had a blood transfusion 2 or 3 times now, and we keep telling you, can you just die the next time and then you won't get in trouble?
And when you say it out loud like that, it sounds, it is ridiculous.
It's sick, isn't it? Just read the next bit then, on the last little bit of that.
Hence, a Christian who deliberately receives a blood transfusion and thus does not keep himself from blood will not prosper spiritually. According to the law of Moses, which set forth shadows of things to come, the receiver of a blood transfusion must be cut off from God's people by excommunication or disfellowshipping.
According to the law of Moses, if he receives a blood transfusion, he must be cut off.
Yeah.
That is not anywhere in Scripture
No.
about receiving a blood transfusion.
No.
They've taken that and...
But it can't be, can it? Because there wasn't blood transfusions then, so it can only be theology that
It's made up.
Yeah, it can only be something, their view on it. It can't be, it's not them, that sentence is nowhere in Scripture.
So that's made up. In later years, I can't remember what year, is it 1991 or something, there's an awake, we'll post the picture on here, of 26, with a picture of 26 children on the cover, all involved in having blood transfusions needed. They all needed blood transfusions one way or another. A few of them died, and there they are on the cover of the magazine. Children.
Just on that point, because obviously you was older when you became a Jehovah's Witness, but on that point I was a child. So I signed an identity card and I carried that with me in my little purse at school, and that was it was a scary thing to think about as a child. So it's awful, really, for a child to even have to think about not having life-saving treatment or even being put in that position, really. But you do it because you do it out of loyalty. So
yeah, it's the 1991 awake. So an organisation is using 26 children to promote their doctrine and to praise them for the stand that they took, and even if they died, well done, get a pat on the back. That's sick.
I know.
But it's just about to get sicker. So in not the latest Elders book, but the previous Elders book, do you know what the Elders book is?
Secret book. Not so secret book.
Not now.
No.
So the Elders book is a book of instructions for the elders. And when it gets printed, there can't be, at the printing presses, there's no women allowed to be anywhere near the printing. They cannot see the book. When an elder gets his elder's book, he's instructed that nobody else ever, even his wife or his family, can never see the pages of that book. And when he's no longer an elder, he's got to hand it back in. Now this is dreadful. Thing is, you can get online today. So this is not the latest, but it's the one before, and this is what it says regarding blood transfusions that nobody's allowed to know about apart from the elders.
This is from the elders book.
Yeah.
So I'm not an elder, and guess what? I'm a female as well.
How dare you read that?
Willingly and unrepentantly accepting blood. If someone willingly accepts a blood transfusion, perhaps because of being under extreme pressure, a committee, not judicial, should obtain the facts and determine the individual's attitude. If he is repentant, the committee would provide spiritual assistance in the spirit of Galatians 6 verse 1 and Jude 22:23. Since he is spiritually weak, he would not qualify for spiritual privileges for a period of time. In some cases, it may also be necessary to remove other privileges, such as commenting at congregation meetings and presenting student assignments on the midweek meeting. Depending on the circumstances, the committee may also need to arrange for an announcement to the congregation at a midweek meeting. The elders have handled a matter having to do with name of person. You will be glad to know that spiritual shepherds are endeavouring to render assistance. On the other hand, if the elders on the committee determine that he is unrepentant, they should announce his disassociation.
Okay, so that's from the Elders book, the previous one. Probably somewhere in the mid 2020. It might have been 2020, something like that. So it says there, look, so it's not a committee. If someone's had blood transfusion, a committee of elders should meet, but not judicial, so they can't disfellowship them.
No.
They should discuss whether is repentant, offer assistance, deprive the brother or the person of privileges in the congregation, and then an announcement has got to be made that the elders are helping such and such a person. They even name.
An announcement's made, so they're going under all that pressure and upset as it is, for whatever reason they've had a blood transfusion for, and then they announce it from a congregation meeting.
From their name,
Yeah.
from the meeting. So they cannot be disfellowshipped for a blood transfusion, but nobody's told that. It's only in the elders book. It says, on the other hand, if the elders on the committee determine that he is unrepentant, if he is unrepentant, they should announce his disassociation.
So disassociation is different to disfellowshipping, isn't it? So disassociation is something that you would do yourself. You would say, I no longer want to be a Jehovah's Witness, so that's what disassociation is. So they've taken that out of his hands, really.
Yeah, what they've done is they've said, if you have a blood transfusion and you're not sorry about it, that is the same as disassociating yourself. That's disgusting, isn't it?
So if they've had a blood transfusion and want to remain a Jehovah's Witness, they say, well, actually, so they're deciding if it's control again, isn't it? But they can't say disfellowshipping, because I would imagine if they disfellowship someone for that, I would imagine they would get into trouble legally, wouldn't they, for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've survived because you've had a blood transfusion, therefore we're disfellowshipping you. You'd go straight to court, wouldn't you? You'd be taken to court with that.
So it's not a loving arrangement. They're covering that is covering the back, really, isn't it?
And it gets sicker. It gets sicker, Larna. So in the latest Elders book, there's not even a section under blood. There's a section under the Hospital Liaison Committee and what they're to do to help the brothers not to have a blood transfusion. But when it comes to the reasons that you can be disfellowshipped, that there's nothing there to do with blood transfusions. Even in the appendix, there's not the word blood. So when you go through all the different things that you can be disfellowshipped for, that this elder can read, it comes to a little line in the Elders book where it says, of course there are other things people can be disfellowshipped for, but please ring the service committee.
So there's nothing written.
Nothing in writing.
There's no written evidence of anything, their stand on the way they would deal with someone that's had a blood transfusion.
No, absolutely not. And there's a good reason why they've not put anything in there. It's because you can actually get these books online now.
Not so secret anymore.
No, that's right. People have put them out there for people to download. So if the congregation could download that and see the policy on blood transfusions, that you can't be disfellowshipped, nobody would be having a blood transfusion, would they? No. The whole lot, the whole theology would collapse if everybody knew that, but they don't want people to know that. So just by way of summing up that then, up until 1961, God was in no way offended if you had a blood transfusion. In 1961, the question from readers come out and said, God is now offended. You need to die rather than having a blood transfusion.
You'd think you'd err on the side of caution with that, wouldn't you? If you don't know for certain, if they're not inspired, you would think they would err on the side of it's someone's life involved. But.
Yeah, so that's right. We'll talk about inspiration in another video. So that was up until 1961. Then 1961, you can get disfellowshipped. Then there's a information in the elders book, which no one else can see, saying you can't disfellowship them, don't let them know, but you can disassociate them. Then in the latest elders book, there's not anything even there, because you've got to ring and make the phone call so you can hear it over the phone.
There's no written evidence then for anybody to be able to use.
Yeah, and then to top it off, there's even another change that the governing body have made. What's the latest change that the governing body have made?
So they've now said, on the basis of the Old Testament scriptures, don't no longer stand that you're now able to use your own blood, aren't you? So you can store your own blood now.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to...
Nobody else's, but you can store your own to be used as a blood transfusion.
Doesn't have to be in constant circulation anymore.
No.
You can actually take it from your body and store it. But what are the problems with that?
Well, I don't know how many. I don't know how many days it is. It's like every
42 max. If you was to store your own blood,
you can only store it for 42 days. I mean, and I suppose, I don't know, because it's obviously something fairly new. I suppose it's whether the hospital's willing to store it for 42 days as well. And
can you imagine 9 million Jehovah's Witnesses all going to hospital saying, "Can you store me blood?" Every 42 days. Just in case
as an emergency, and then you have to go back every 42 days, I'm assuming. And
yeah, I think you can freeze it, but imagine hospitals even taking that on board.
Yeah,
they're not going to do that for 9 million Jehovah's Witnesses, are they? Yeah, so that's a change that they've made that benefits very few people. The only people that might benefit is if you're going into hospital for a planned operation and you say, "Do you want to take some of my blood?"
Just in case, yeah.
But think about that, Larna. How many people could have been saved?
Yeah, so that new lie so with new lie, I don't understand.
Because other people could have, if they've had that new light years ago, there are some people who would have
been saved.
Who would have survived.
So why would you play with life like that?
Yeah, because the idiots. They're not the brightest.
You would err on the side of caution, or at least if you had that stance and you believed that was a Christian standard, you wouldn't punish somebody for making a decision on their own life and their own health. You would just leave that with God.
Yeah.
Even if you believe that, you just leave it with God. You wouldn't exact punishment on them for that.
Now just imagine now you're in hospital, or your child's in hospital, or a family member's in hospital, and they're saying, "This person needs blood, we've got none stored, if they don't have it, they're going to die." Do you know what I'd think? I think...
What, change again?
What happens if they change their mind tomorrow? If I don't have the blood, or they don't have the blood and they die, and then tomorrow the governing body say, "There's new light, we've decided to have blood transfusions." I know what I'd do.
Just have the blood.
Just have the blood.
Have the blood.
Yeah, definitely. So when you think about the material that we've just gone through, why don't Jehovah's Witnesses know what the things that we've just said?
I suppose that's where it comes back to that label of apostate again. It stops people from even watching anything like this at all. You don't look outside of the organisation for any information, and you don't trust your internal voice either when it comes to anything like that. So they're not allowed to watch this, and they're not allowed to trust how they feel about it either, because they have to trust what's being told, they're being told.
They just hope they never need blood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. So if they were to watch this and approach an elder and ask a question based on anything we've said, they would be
punished for that.
They would, wouldn't they?
It wouldn't be. We understand your genuine concern. Let's sit down and talk about it. It would be right. We need to take you to one side and just talk to you about why you're watching things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So those 11 men, they hold to this policy of no blood transfusions, and they're not the brightest men in the world. They are making people go through capital punishment who are innocent. It's like killing people unnecessarily, and they hold it. and they don't let go of it, and they push it on everybody. And if you're listening and you was to, even yourself, talk about this to Jehovah's Witnesses, you wouldn't believe the response that you would get. They would defend their belief of
They would say they would believe that it's loyalty to God.
yes.
They would believe that they were being loyal to what God had said.
They would defend their belief on on not having blood transfusions, wouldn't they? Till the blue in the face.
But it's not even God, as we've said throughout the video. It's not even God. God's never said anywhere in the Bible you're not to receive blood transfusion. It's not even what He said.
So this is the answer. This is the proper thing to do. If you or your child or anybody you know need a blood transfusion,
have it.
have it.
Have the blood.
Have the blood. You know, in 3 months' time, you'll be reinstated. You'll be sat with your child at the Kingdom Hall. Or you could go to the Kingdom Hall with no child and feel like you've been incredibly loyal and your child's been loyal. Why would you want to do that?
And get a pat on the back.
And get a pat on the back by the elders. Well done. That's just what we expected. Have the blood transfusion and get reinstated. Get disfellowshipped and not disfellowshipped. Let them disassociate you. Go back to the meetings and get reinstated and have your loved one with you. I can't say any stronger than that. That's just how strong we feel about it, isn't it? So it's been a long video. I'm sorry to bore the pants off anybody, but it's quite a big subject. And I think we might even talk a little bit more about it next video we make. As well as...
I mean, that they're not, for me, they're not inspired. It is...
No.
They're not inspired. So they're taking a gamble with people's lives. And new lights change. The new lights change, and it's cost people lives before that. So it's...
That's right.
You would think they would err on the side of caution. I have a lot to say, but it's all very personal, so I'll keep it to facts.
Okay, well, I might talk about it again next time. But new light is what they claim, isn't it? So every time they want to make a change, normally because the courts are coming down heavier on them in different areas, they come up with new light. Oh, we've Jehovah's revealed something else. And then it's easier for them to
when life's involved,
deal with it courts.
Especially when life's involved, or with anything's involved, spirituality and your relationship with God should be a personal one. But especially where life's involved, if they're not inspired,
do not be loyal.
Not be taking risks with people's lives.
No, absolutely. Do not be loyal to them men over your loved ones.
Bye.
Therefore, after much prayer and consideration of the Scriptures, the governing body has decided to clarify our position on the use of a patient's own blood in medical and surgical care. The clarification is this: each Christian must decide for himself how his own blood will be used in all medical and surgical care. This includes whether to allow his own blood to be removed, stored, and then given back to him. What does this mean? Some Christians may decide that they would allow their blood to be stored and then be given back to them. Others may object. Each Christian must make his personal decision on all matters involving the use of his own blood with regard to medical or surgical care. In review, Christians are not under the Mosaic law. However, we obey the apostolic command to abstain from blood. Furthermore, the Bible does not comment on the use of a person's own blood in medical and surgical care. Therefore, like other choices about health care, each Christian must make his own decision about the use of his own blood in all medical and surgical care.